Welcome to the Wellness Foundation's daily audio blog with me, Greg Parry. The unexpected power of connections. You've probably heard countless times that absolutely everything's connected. It's a very familiar idea and something that's often mentioned as if we should take the principle of connectivity for granted. And whilst this might seem like a very appealing concept, it's much harder to detect in all the various lines of connectivity in the course of our busy lives. But just because something might not be obvious doesn't mean that it isn't very, very significant. It really is an intriguing concept, and it's one that deserves much closer scrutiny. Without losing ourselves in the hopelessly complex and counterintuitive world of quantum physics, the idea that everything is deeply connected has a long and ancient pedigree. It's been a popular topic amongst philosophers and mystics for thousands of years, and its message is as relevant today as it's always been, but perhaps more so, because as we witness the rise of social media, we might easily feel less connected to others than we used to. Social media, after all, is a poor substitute for the richness of face-to-face conversations with real people in a convivial social environment. This unsettling sense of isolation persuades us that we are less connected than we used to be, and this creates the illusion that the connections that bind everything together are either less relevant or less influential than they might be. Now, the connections may not always be apparent, but on a subconscious level, they resonate deeply and powerfully. On a personal as well as a professional level, the way that we do one thing is going to show up in the way that we do everything. Let's just think about that. Chaos, contradictions, and inappropriate behavior in one area of our lives will seep into the other areas. It's just a question of time. I know, this might sound like a very tough proposition, as if in some way we're going to be punished for our transgressions in ways that don't appear to be directly connected with our lapses in personal conduct. But rather than interpreting the concept as some archaic form of punishment, the idea provides us with a very useful wake-up call. There are some very positive aspects to this level of understanding. It alerts us to the fact that if we're cutting corners, acting in ways that might prove harmful to ourselves and others, we need to recognize that we're encouraging repercussions that could sabotage our well-laid plans, our goals, our dreams and aspirations. It's not exactly unusual. It happens every single day. We could put this in a simpler form. Whatever's happening on the micro scale is going to show up in a big picture. And once we learn to recognize the power of this concept, we can begin to make adjustments to our behavior that will neutralize the largely unforeseen negative consequences that are often sown in the furrow of unwise actions. If everything's connected, then it makes perfect sense to minimize the possible damage and destruction that follows from unwise actions, but making sure that we honor our personal standards of integrity and always aim to do our best. It's also an invitation to take full responsibility for our lives and to clean up our act. It's a moment of reflection in which we can choose to eliminate behaviors that could be harmful to our well-being, to our success, and to our relationships. It's a simple way to join the dots and appreciate that our actions in one area will inevitably influence the outcomes in other areas. If you consider the impact of deceit, for example, and the stress this imposes on anyone's life, it's obvious that lying degrades our sense of self-respect, and it fosters a habit of compromise. Personal empowerment flows more readily along the channels of clarity and personal integrity. It might be easy to adopt a cynical attitude when we listen to the disingenuous words of politicians, but our mission is to take better control of our own lives and destinies before we attempt to change the rest of the world. The way we muster our own resources and behaviours will very much define how our lives evolve. The biggest clue in the quest for a more harmonious life can be found in the contradictions. This is where our words and good intentions are not matched by our actions. Expressing an idea and then doing the opposite. Proclaiming a set of personal behavioural standards but failing to live up to them. These contradictions provide clues about the inconsistencies that often disrupt our efforts for success in any field of endeavour. It's incredibly helpful to bear in mind that we really do have far more choice and control over these issues than we might imagine. We really can choose how we behave. Now, let's be clear. We're not looking for some absurd form of perfection here. What we're looking for is consistency, a clear commitment to excellence in all areas of our lives. It's a perfect way to streamline your life and develop much greater efficiency. You remove the inconsistencies and contradictions that block the progress. You eliminate the distractions and the harmful habits that obstruct the flow of your plans. And you feel more centered, more balanced, more creative and empowered. And these are the naturally occurring consequences of applying positive standards of conduct in all areas of your life. So let's make today the perfect opportunity to review the contradictions that we've tolerated for too long. Let's make a powerful commitment to adopt the highest standards for our personal and our professional behaviour. And just notice how quickly things begin to change around you. It's a wildly positive way of taking better control of your life, and it's a superb approach to improving every aspect of your existence. Well, I really hope you enjoyed the audio blog, because our mission is to help you to make a difference to the quality of your life. If you liked it, we'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. And if you'd like to stay up to date with all the new material we're producing, remember to like the Facebook page, and that's the absolute best way for you to make sure you get this material as soon as we post it. Until next time, thanks for listening.